it's Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
The Chicago Bears just posted their very first injury report, and there's both some positives and negatives as they prepare for their week 1 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, first and foremost, happy game day. The NFL season is officially here as the Dallas Cowboys travel to Philadelphia to take on the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. I am so happy that football is back. The Chicago Bears are continuing their prep for their week 1 Monday Night Football matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. But before I go any further with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's podcast, and that is DraftKings Sportsbook. The new NFL season is finally here, and I can't begin to tell you guys how excited I am that this season Keek on the Mic is teaming up with DraftKings Sportsbook. Football fans, I will be the first one to tell you that I have always loved the thrill of live betting, and this season DraftKings Sportsbook is coming with absolute heat. This season, people that join DraftKings Sportsbook that only bet $5 will instantly get $300 in bonus bets. Not only that, football fans, you will also get $200 off of YouTube and YouTube TV on the NFL Sunday Ticket. I'm not sure about you guys, but that deal from DraftKings Sportsbook is absolutely crazy good, especially for someone like me that absolutely loves live betting every season on your favorite team. So if you love the thrill of live betting every single season on your favorite team, DraftKings Sportsbook definitely has you covered this NFL season. So if you want to join the fun with DraftKings Sportsbook all season long, make sure you click the link in the description of today's video and use my promo code KEEK. All right, Bears fans, before I go any further with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, on a scale of 1 to 10, and let me know down below in the comment section, how excited are you guys that football is officially back? I understand the Chicago Bears don't play until Monday against the Vikings, but just being able to sit back, maybe crack open an ice cold beer, have a really nice meal, and watching the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles kick off the season tonight is what dreams are made of. It feels like it's Christmas Day for NFL fans. So let me know down below if you guys are also excited that the NFL season is officially here. There is some injury news in regard to the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears have posted their very first injury report for their Monday Night Football matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. And I do want to let you guys know that the Bears did not actually practice today. So this is just an estimation if they were going to be on the practice field. So as we look at it, there is some positives and negatives from this very first injury report. Of course, you're looking at defensive back Josh Blackwell, did not practice due to a groin injury. TJ Edwards, the starting linebacker, is dealing with a hamstring injury. He would have not practiced today as well. And then Roschon Johnson with the foot injury also was a do not practice. So obviously with TJ Edwards and Roschon Johnson, those are definitely some big ones. And even with Josh Blackwell, being a really good depth piece in the secondary and also our special teams ace as well. I hope all three of these guys are able to make a push to play on Monday night. And then, of course, some positives. You have Jaylon Johnson and Kyle Monangai. Obviously, Jaylon Johnson dealing with that calf and groin injury, and then Kyle Monangai dealing with that hamstring. Were both limited. They are looking more likely than not to play on Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. And then wide receiver Devin Duvernay and defensive lineman Dominique Robinson. Obviously, Duvernay has been dealing with that hamstring injury, and Robinson dealing with the oblique. Would have both been full participants for the Chicago Bears today. Of course, the Bears still have the Friday and Saturday injury reports to decide if who's going to be out and who is going to be in. But once again, the negatives are obviously Blackwell, Edwards, and Roschon Johnson. The positives are Jaylon Johnson and Kyle Monangai look like they're going to play. But hopefully TJ Edwards and Josh Blackwell can make a push. It seems that Roschon Johnson will probably be one of the guys out for that Monday Night Football game against the Minnesota Vikings. That's why it's really huge that Monangai would have been limited today, and hopefully that progresses to him playing and being the number 2 running back behind DeAndre Swift. So Bears fans, let me know down below in the comment section your concerns about the very first injury report as Chicago Bears continue to prep for the Vikings on Monday. But Bears fans, before I let you guys go, on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, there was a little article that Jeremy Fowler wrote on Ben Johnson, on Caleb Williams, and the Chicago Bears. And according to him, he believes that Ben Johnson is prepared to be very creative with quarterback Caleb Williams, not only for this game against the Minnesota Vikings, but for the duration of the NFL season as well. This is what he had to say, Bears fans. He says, now that we're past the preseason, watch for the Bears to flash some creativity to maximize quarterback Caleb Williams. My sense from the people in Chicago is that while head coach Ben Johnson would coach Williams relentlessly on the basics throughout camp, they would eventually play the Williams strengths, utilizing his mobility and off-platform throwing as an off-script playmaker. Bears fans can see more of that in the regular season. Once again, we have talked about this time and time again, is that during the duration of training camp and the preseason, Ben Johnson and the offensive coaching staff were just trying to figure out how much Caleb Williams can handle. So they were coaching him hard, coaching with that relentless effort, being transparent with him. And then once they figured out what Caleb Williams can actually handle, then the training wheels would then come off. And of course, there are certain things that Ben Johnson wants Caleb Williams to do at a high level, being able to play within the pocket, to be able to progress the field and scan the field, quick throws, right? And do the little things that make good quarterbacks in the National Football League. But where the creativity comes from is letting Caleb Williams truly be himself, just like Jeremy Fowler said in this article, utilizing his mobility, his off-platform throws, some of the many things that Ryan Poles and the Bears organization loved about Caleb Williams coming out of USC, and really the big reason why Caleb Williams was the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. So, of course, it's going to be things that Ben Johnson is expecting from Caleb Williams to be a really good quarterback in the National Football League, but do expect some creativity in letting Caleb Williams be Caleb Williams. I am super excited to see what Ben Johnson's game plan is against the Minnesota Vikings on Monday night. I do feel that he will put Caleb Williams and the rest of the offensive players on this team in the best situations to succeed. I know this was a different personnel, but for the last couple of seasons, the last 4 matchups against the Brian Flores-led defense from the Minnesota Vikings, Ben Johnson has put up 122 points, 16 touchdowns, and it just has been electric every single time he has faced off against Brian Flores and the Minnesota Vikings defense. Of course, the Vikings defense have added some key pieces to their defense, and I understand that Ben Johnson had a different personnel over with the Detroit Lions, but I feel that we have all the weapons possible to be successful, not only in this matchup on Monday Night Football against the Vikings, but for the duration of the season. So just like Jeremy Fowler said, I cannot wait to see the creativity, because in preseason, it was just basically vanilla, seeing what, Caleb Williams can actually handle. But it seems that when Monday Night Football starts for the Chicago Bears against the Vikings, that the training wheels will be officially off, and we'll finally see the bigger picture on what Caleb Williams can actually be under Ben Johnson. So Bears fans, are you guys excited for the opener against the Vikings and seeing what Ben Johnson actually has in store for Caleb Williams this season? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right.